Yo, what's going on? It's your boy TJ, and you're listening to Dreadhead Radio on Spreaker.com. We glow.
You are now tuned in to the world's greatest.
Tonight is the night, bright, tight crowd. Yeah, we keep it thrown down, everybody get loud. Tonight is the night,
Yeah. What's going on, world? It's your boy TJ. Welcome to the second edition of Right After Wrestling, which stands for Raw, the acronym for Raw, right here on Spreaker.com. It's your boy TJ, and I'm in a booth with you tonight. We got a good show lined up for you all. We talk a little bit what happened right after wrestling went off the air. A lot of stuff happened. John Cena cutting a heel promo. And finally, 3MB getting a win on national TV. We got that and a whole lot more coming up. We also have a new segment I like to call Hell Yeah and Hell No that we're going to introduce to this show. Also, you can get involved in the show right now. All you got to do is just call 601-456-0323. That's 601-456-0323. I want to hear what you got to say about what happened on tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened from the beginning of the show to John Cena to the end of the show with the Shield and Evolution. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about there was a tragedy that took place in the world of wrestling. If you're a big wrestling fan, you'll know what I'm referring to. You know what I'm referring to. I'm talking about the death of a commentator, WCW commentator, Stagger Lee Marshall. Now, for those that don't know who Stagger Lee Marshall is, Stagger Lee Marshall was a WCW commentator. He actually was the commentator that actually relieved Tony Schiavone when Tony Schiavone couldn't make it to certain events. He mostly did WCW Saturday Night. He also did Worldwide Wrestling from time to time. But a lot of people may not know this, that Stagger Lee Marshall was actually the voice of Tony the Tiger from the late 1980s to the early 1990s. So the voice that you heard come in from the cartoon character of Tony the Tiger was actually the voice of Stagger Lee Marshall. So he lost his life on yesterday. So we want to send our prayers to the family of Stagger Lee Marshall, and rest in peace, my friend. I think that that's the right way to start the show here tonight. Talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw. But first, before we get into it, we have to launch the segment Hell Yeah and Hell No.
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Okay. The Hell Yeah edition of this show is brought to you by You Got 'Em Customs. That's YouGot'Em.com. Get all your urban apparel, all your casual wear, that and so much more from YouGot'Em.com. That's YouGot'Em.com. Hell Yeah of the night. The first Hell Yeah I gotta say has to go to Bad News Barrett. Now I know what people are thinking. All the stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw, and you giving props to Bad News Barrett? Absolutely. The fact is, Bad News Barrett is a guy who's been putting on top quality matches for the last couple weeks, and his promo work is just outstanding. So I want to give a hell yeah to my guy, everybody's guy, the guy that's the bringer of Bad News Barrett. I want to give a hell yeah to the children's choir that came out with Bray Wyatt. Now, I think that it was an eerie, eerie theme, for Monday Night Raw tonight. Seemed like everything was just kind of eerie. To start the show, to have the kids coming out almost similar like to the Children of the Corn, so to speak. I know that's what they probably were trying to do with that. However, I like the fact that they had the kids, have the sheep mask on to say that Bray Wyatt is slowly, conjuring, and gathering up the fans that John Cena used to hold near and dear, and that is that is the children. So I think that was a good look. I also think that Cesaro, I have to give props to him. A very good look. I like how Cesaro comes down to the ring. Paul Heyman really don't know what he is, a good guy or a bad guy, and he's pretty much indifferent. He'll do anything to try to get to the top, and I like the direction that WWE is actually going with him. I want to give a hell yeah. I want to give a special hell yeah to Paige. I think that Paige is a good talent. I think that she can put on good matches. I don't feel like, which is I'm gonna talk a little bit about later. I don't like the talent that she had in the ring with her tonight. However, I think that Paige is hell yeah affiliated. And lastly, I want to give a hell yeah to the end of the show. I like Ric Flair actually coming out. I mean, who doesn't like Ric Flair? Styling and profiling, suit. I like how he came out and he endorsed the Shield. Kind of furthering the career of those young superstars. Those are my hell yeahs tonight. And hell yeah has been brought to you by YouGotThemCustoms.com. That's YouGotThemCustoms.com. TJ and Abu with you. Now we're going to switch it up from a hell yeah. And now we got to talk about a hell no.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no, man. Hell no. Hell yeah basically is what I don't like about wrestling. And what I don't like about Monday Night Raw here tonight. Number one, I wrote it down. Y'all excuse me as I gather my notes. Hell no to Damien Sandow. Who in the hell did that guy piss off in order for him not to get a push? Coming out in Magneto costume. I mean, what a difference a year makes. Just last year, Damien Sandow was Mr. Money in the Bank. And now he's around here jobbing a Hugh Jackman. I mean, that's pretty much degrading to him. I mean, so much talent in the back that has absolutely no future. Never will be in the main event. Where's Zack Ryder? Man, why would you put somebody like Damien Sandow? I remember when Damien Sandow had a match with Sheamus probably like 6 months ago. It was on Monday Night Raw. And it was a stellar match. Boy, but what a difference a year make. Damien Sandow jobbing to Hugh Jackman. Man, how the mighty have fallen. And now I feel like they're dropping the ball on Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow is one hell of a talent, and I feel like he's not used the right way. And I know they have to have a lot of frustration going through the mind and the body of Damien Sandow for coming out there looking as ridiculous as he did. I don't know how you can put this guy in the main event anywhere. Period. I mean, you basically just stamp the fact that you're gonna job for the rest of your WWE career. I mean, he has good mic skills. He cuts good promos, and have them job week after week after week. And it's pretty much discouraging to a fan of Damien Sandow like myself. I like people that can perform in a ring, and I like people that can perform on the mic, because those are the things that get people the checks. At least I thought until tonight when I saw Damien Sandow. I think the whole segment with Damien Sandow, Dolph Ziggler, and Hugh Jackman was terrible. I don't think that they actually got together at the beginning of the show. I don't know what was going on with that. It just seemed like it was just all over the place. It just seemed like it was just all over the place with that promo. Don't seem like much practice was being involved, so I didn't really like it. I don't like the fact how Dolph Ziggler is out there smiling and, hugging and all that kind of stuff. Dolph Ziggler just seems like, he's arrogant, he's cocky, he's better than you, he's more athletic than you, and he'll prove it in a ring. I don't like how he's just out there, with his bromance with Hugh Jackman. I like Hugh Jackman. I like his energy. He seems like a nice guy. He doesn't seem like one of those actors that just, don't know what's going on. Is not aware of the WWE product, which I like. So I like the fact that he's a good sport coming out there. But that whole segment just seemed like it just ran a little bit too long, and It seemed like, little side jokes and improv too was really much, pretty much going on, which I have no problem with. But you want to have some kind of chemistry when we talk about improv, and those guys had absolutely no chemistry out there. It just seemed like WWE just pointed 3 guys out the back and said, go out there and talk for like 10, 15 minutes. So I didn't like the segment. I didn't like it at all. It was a pretty long segment, and you already know how it was going to end. Hugh Jackman was going to hit somebody or he was going to do a wrestling move. So pretty terrible segment. Alexander Rusev. Okay, Alexander Rusev, whatever his name is. I mean, we get it. He's big, he's strong, he's a super athlete. The chick that comes out to endorse him, I mean, she's sexy as hell. We get it. But, I don't feel like he just needed to be on Monday Night Raw tonight. We get that he's strong. We get that, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future in WWE. But to have him go up against a guy he's going to be facing on Sunday, just kind of tears away from the match. So I don't feel like that actually promoted the match any further. So I don't feel like the presence of Alexander Rusev basically wasn't necessary tonight. The WeLC match that's being promoted for Extreme Rules between El Torito and Hornswoggle. Don't like it. I feel like it's a joke. I feel like it's a slap in the face to those tag teams, 3MB and Los Matadores. Okay, for months you put all these promos together. Los Matadores are coming. Ole, all that crap right there, only to have these guys in the background to 2 midgets. It's terrible. And then 3MB, the real life Barry Horowitz of WWE, never win. Which shouts out to him. I should have put that in the Hell Yeah segment. They finally won a match on national TV. But you put Hornswoggle with him, and basically it's 2 midgets that's basically. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to call them midgets. Height deficient superstars. 2 height deficient superstars that you put in a match at Extreme Rules. If I was any one of those teams, I would be pissed off that the WWE didn't select me, but they decided to select 2 height deficient superstars, have a match, and I'm just in a corner of those 2 superstars. In a WeLC match, I mean, come on, man, give me a break. Terrible booking, not funny. And I know that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make people laugh because they got these 2 small guys in the ring. I'm not interested. I don't think any kids are listening. And hopefully that's a match that people are filing into the arena zone because nobody wants to see it. Big E Langston. I feel like Big E Langston should have been at the commentary desk during the number 1 contender match between Bad News Barrett and Rob Van Dam. I feel like if you're going to be putting attention on the Intercontinental title, why not have the Intercontinental Champion out at the commentary desk, promoting his Intercontinental title, talk about how much the Intercontinental title actually means to him, and promote the match for Sunday. I just feel like him being in the back with his arm folded, looking at a TV, didn't really push the match. I mean, he has the Intercontinental title over his shoulder. He looks like a proud champion, but how does he really feel? How does he really feel to be Intercontinental Champion? I feel like that should have been on display. And, I feel like he should have been at the commentary desk. It would have furthered the program. Maybe have him do something, with Bad News Barrett. Kind of, exchange blows or something like that. Knock down Bad News Barrett. Because Bad News Barrett been running Ruckshot. And it seems like, as a fan, you think that Bad News Barrett is going to beat Big E Langston easily. I mean, he had good matches with Dolph Ziggler. He had a good match with Sheamus. He had a mediocre match, but okay match with Rob Van Dam. So you go into Sunday believing that Bad News Barrett is going to be the Intercontinental Champion. So why not have Big E Langston come out there and have a little, fisticuffs with Bad News Barrett just to kind of, promote the match? Would have been a good look, but unfortunately they dropped the ball. And lastly, the hell no of the night. I gotta say hell no to the booking of WWE. Terrible booking tonight. And let me tell you why. Goes into the last match. Okay? The very last match between the Shields of Roman Reigns and Evolution's Randy Orton. Number one, if you're trying to push a guy to make him a main eventer, you're trying to push a guy to try to make him the next face of the WWE, which they're trying to do with Roman Reigns, don't put him up against a guy. Even though he's a heel, he's in his hometown. Randy Orton is from St. Louis, Missouri. So of course people are going to cheer for him, because as soon as Josh Roberts say, from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 248 pounds, Randy Orton, people are going to pop. Because number one, he's from their town. Regardless if they like a guy or not, they're going to cheer for him. Because they respect him. He makes their town proud. He's a decorated champion. So they're going to cheer for Randy Orton. So why put Roman Reigns in a position like that? Even though if you were looking at the time, you know that it really wasn't going to be a long match. But still put him in there for him to get booed on national TV, or a possibility for him to get booed on national TV, which he didn't. You know, people were indifferent, but at the same time, you know, you heard cheers in the crowd for Randy Orton on national TV. So it could have made Roman Reigns look, you know, pretty weak, you know, as far as like crowd participation, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to move this guy up the ladder and you want people to get behind him. People, you know, like that old saying, in Rome, they do what the Romans do. You know, when they're in Rome, they do what the Romans do. If they hear people cheering for Randy Orton, hell, maybe Randy Orton is not as bad as we think he is. You know, if they're booing Randy Orton, be like, I hate that guy too. You know, but putting Roman Reigns in that position and you want him to be the next face of your company wasn't really a good look. And I feel like that promo was awkward for Evolution and the Shield. I mean, if 6 guys are standing in the ring, you know, and they really want to put their hands on each other, you know, and they really don't like each other, you know, they want to fight it out. They want to duke it out. So I just feel like those 6 guys standing in the ring, staring each other off, and nobody did anything, you know, really didn't sell a match. Because if I really don't like a guy and a guy put me through as much stuff as Evolution put the Shield through over the last couple weeks, and as much as the Shield ran Ruckshot on Friday Night SmackDown, you'll think that even if they're in the same vicinity as Evolution, they'll want to put their hands on. That's just my opinion. Yo, it just made it look weak. Overall, I give Monday Night Raw promos, period. I'm talking about everybody. For this to be a go-home show, it was absolutely terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I think they could have did a better job. Very average promos leading into a pay-per-view. They did more promoting the WWE Network than they did promoting matches, and that's what I had a problem with. So those are my hell yeahs and hell no's of the night, and those have been brought to you by YouGotThemCustoms.com. TJ in a boot with you. This is Right After Wrestling Raw, right here on Spreaker.com, Dreadhead Radio. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw. So now we're just going to break it down. I'm going to start it off in segments. First off, I want to talk a little bit about John Cena tonight. John Cena comes down to the ring, not in heroic fashion, but he comes down to the ring. You know, usually we see John Cena running down to the ring, saluting the crowd, look at the camera to his right, you know, say a little something before he runs down to the ring. We didn't see that John Cena tonight. We just actually seen him walk out, defeated, you know, don't understand what the hell's going on, baffled, bewildered. Comes down to the ring and cuts a promo, you know, and basically says that the WWE Universe had a chance to do the right thing and have a fair exchange between the Wyatts and him. He finally could get his hands on Bray Wyatt, but they choose to allow a 3-on-1 handicap match, basically for him to get destroyed. He didn't understand why, and he seemed like he got mad at the WWE Universe. Pose, okay? I understand why they were trying to do this, but later on the night, John Cena then catches up with Renee Young and says, I thought the WWE Universe turned his back on me, but they didn't. Okay, it seems to me like they're trying to dangle a carrot in front of the fans. Like, man, do you want to see John Cena as a heel? Or do you want to see him as a face? You know what I'm saying? Dangling a carrot in front of WWE fans. WWE fans, they know what they want. I mean, be that as it may, you have fans that are thirsty to see something new, which we all are. I don't care what you who you are. You always aspire to be better. You always aspire to see something new, something fresh, something that's never been seen before. John Cena run as a face is coming to an end. It's inevitable. And I feel like the WWE is not understanding that. If John Cena is the face of your company, if John Cena is the guy that's selling the merchandise, which they like to put out, because I'm a very inside guy. I read the wrestling blogs and I look at what's going on behind the scenes. And for those that don't want to hear this, you might want to cover your ears. But the fact is, John Cena is the number one seller of merchandise in the company. He sells the most merchandise. He sells the most shirts, hats, wristbands, armbands, anything that you can buy, collector's cups, all that. John Cena is the number one seller, followed by Daniel Bryan. I understand that, but I got a fact for you. During the time at WrestleMania 18, when Stone Cold Steve Austin went up against The Rock, when Stone Cold Steve Austin became a heel, nobody believed it. Everybody still was cheering for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Even though he was doing some dastardly and vile things, he joined the alliance. He was singing annoying music on that guitar that he couldn't play. He couldn't sing. He was annoying the hell out of everybody. But he still was the number one seller of merchandise. Let's go a little bit further back. Let's look at Hulk Hogan, the face of the 80s. Come to 90s, people, he did basically is doing the same thing. The same thing that happened to Hulk Hogan was the same thing that happened, is happening with John Cena right now. So what did Hulk Hogan do? Hulk Hogan became a heel, became a part of NWO. NWO, the highest selling merchandise in all of the company. So why are they worried so much about John Cena selling merchandise? I understand that he make people wishes come true. He's made more wishes come true than anybody in Make-A-Wish Foundation. I understand that John Cena is selling the most merchandise. But at the same time, I don't feel like his merchandise sales are going to plummet due to the fact that he's doing dastardly things. You can say that for the Wyatt family right now. They're doing dastardly things. They're selling good merchandise. I mean, basically, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. So I feel like they're crippling John Cena by not allowing him to be a heel. So I wrote down some things that I feel like directions they need to go with John Cena. Number one direction I feel like they need to go with John Cena is John Cena coming out cutting promos. Like, I've been listening to you fans, for a long time and stuff like that. It seems like you don't like me very much. That can be the first direction they can go in. Number two, they can have John Cena seem like he's listening to the crowd, almost like a face wrestler who, let's just say for example, when Cesaro is about to do the Cesaro swing, he catches the guy by the legs and he looks around for the crowd's approval. How about we think that John Cena is going to do a 5-knuckle shuffle or something, and he dusts his shoulder off and he just throws us a curveball, like basically he about to do a 5-knuckle shuffle on a good guy or something like that. You know how they do it. When they think that a guy's about to turn heel, they'll probably put him in a program with a guy that's also a fan favorite or equal to, fan support as the person they're in the ring with. How about having John Cena perform a 5-knuckle shuffle? He dusts his shoulder off, look at the crowd, throws his hands like I'm tired of this crap, goes out to the ring, gets a chair, and just completely, throws a screwball at the fans. Not making them typical John Cena. And number three, idea that I thought of, have him screw Daniel Bryan. Have him screw Daniel Bryan, like come down to the ring, you know, hit him with an attitude adjustment in the middle of a match that's of importance. Next week he shows up on TV, up on the ramp with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. He's already supposed to be the company guy. He's supposed to be clean cut. You know, have John Cena come out with a suit. Have John Cena take the shirt off. You know, take the jean shorts off. Have him dressing in traditional wrestling attire. Something that you probably never seen John Cena do. Let's look at John Cena like that. Let's make John Cena look like a corporate man. Let's let him look like a corporate brown noser. Saying, because he already cut a promo going into WrestleMania, he said that if you want to make it to the top, you got to go through me. So how about making him the guy that, you know, that will do anything and screw anybody to keep his place? I mean, we see that in business offices all the time. We see a guy that's been there 10, 20 years, and all of a sudden the young upstart comes in with his Harvard degree or his Yale degree, and the guy gets a little bit intimidated. So what does he do? He tries to do things in order, you know, to make this guy lose his credibility, to make him look more superior. So I think that's what the route they need to go with John Cena. I like the situation when he cut the promo and he was asking the question why, but I didn't like how later on that night he retracted his statement and saying that he thought the WWE universe was going to turn his back on him. Basically, it's just like saying, you know, like he's in denial. People don't like John Cena anymore. Period. WWE, they're not, you know, they're on some other guy. They're on the Cesaros. They're on the Daniel Bryans of the world. Those are the guys they're on. They're on the Bray Wyatts. They're on the Shield. They like the new generation of superstars. That is who they're trying to get behind. So John Cena being in denial is not a good look. But nevertheless, Bray Wyatt comes down to the ring, followed by a choir of young kids singing the song that he's made famous over the last couple weeks. He has the whole world in his hands. I like the eerie feeling. I like how they're trying to say that Bray Wyatt has the young children, the fans that John Cena kind of, I guess appeals to. I like how they had the mask on and saying, I got your Legions fan, I got your Scene Nation fans, I got them. They belong to me now. I like that. I think that's a sexy look. I think that's a good look for Bray Wyatt. And I feel like it actually pushes the program. I don't feel like him laughing for 5 minutes actually pushed the pay-per-view. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand, him just laughing for 5 minutes without cutting a promo. These are go-home shows, people. If I got $50 or $60 in my pocket and I'm a big-time wrestling fan, looking at tonight's show, I'm going out and I'm taking that $50 and I'm buying groceries. That's what I'm doing with it. I'm going to the car wash with it. I'm splitting it up between getting a Subway sandwich and I don't know, getting a T-shirt or something like that off the street. I'm not interested in Extreme Rules. I'm not, because the promos that were cut tonight didn't really put any asses in seats. If I didn't already know in my mind that I was going to purchase Extreme Rules, or I had the WWE Network and I was able to watch it, you didn't convert me tonight, WWE. You didn't convert me. I'm sorry. Very, very piss poor job, doing these promos. Very sorry job. I mean, it was sorry. They could have did a whole lot better. But him laughing for 5 to 10 minutes did not promote the match between him and John Cena. It didn't. And not even when John Cena retracted his statement and said that he was going to put a fist in Bray Wyatt's face and one in his ass. Didn't promote it. Did not promote the match the way that I feel like it did. He should have came out there. He should have cut a promo to say that I have these fans here today. Come Sunday, I'm going to have all your fans. Something like that. I mean, as corny as that may seem, could have did something like that. People would have been able to appreciate the match that, going down and saying, hey, John Cena has to beat Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has to be John Cena. But we didn't get that tonight. We just had John Cena holding his head with his face or whatever, you know what I'm saying, face in his hands, or whatever you want to say. You know, just, I mean, it just didn't appeal to me if I was a fan. I'm going to talk a little bit about Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil is a terrible wrestler, people. Terrible. I root for the brothers. I mean, I try to root for the brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I try to, man. You know, I want to, you know, say I get behind the brothers. I get behind all, you know what I'm saying, all the superstars. You know, but at the same time, Titus O'Neil just is not it. You know, Titus O'Neil is a tag team wrestler at best. I mean, sometimes people just can't be single superstars. They can't. They have to have a tag team partner. They have to have a tag team partner. And I feel like removing him from the primetime players with Darren Young, who's a much better worker than he is, actually, Darren Young actually compensated for the lackluster performance that Titus O'Neil puts on. You know, so Titus O'Neil, I don't know if I said, Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil is not a main event superstar, period. Tag team wrestler at best. So you had him come down to the ring and attack Sheamus before the match. Okay? You had him throw Sheamus up against the barricade. You had him throw Sheamus up against the steel stairs. You had him throw Sheamus up against the ring post. You had him come out there, you know, wanting the referee to start the match and beating up on Sheamus. All that to get bro kicked in the face and lose the match anyway. If you're going to have Titus O'Neil come down to the ring, you want to make him look like he has a mean streak. How about not having the match start at all? How about just have him beat the hell out of Sheamus and beat him up so bad that the match didn't even continue? Or the match didn't even start in the first place. But Titus O'Neil, he can't wrestle. It's not natural. You know, I seen a match a couple of months ago between him and Darren Young. Worst match I seen since The Ultimate Warrior versus Papa Shango. You got to go back, people. You got to go back for that one. That was a terrible match. Two guys, very disappointing match. Even Mark Henry, who was at the commentary desk, you know, WWE actually has like the commentary table, you know, with Josh Matthews, had like a round table discussion. They usually have like Raw backstage pass, SmackDown backstage pass. They usually have like a panel of superstars, and Mark Henry was the guest superstar of the night. And he said how disappointed he was with Darren Young and Titus O'Neil match. He said he didn't know what was going on with that. He was just disappointed, and I was too. But Titus O'Neil is not a good wrestler. Is not the answer to the main event problems. And like I said, I just feel like, you know, in a couple of years, we won't even know who he is. I just feel like he need to go back to being with the primetime players, and they need to, you know, be a part of the tag team division. But I feel like I know what can fix Titus O'Neil. Man, now hear me out, people. Hear me out. I feel like they need to bring back the Nation of Domination. A new Nation of Domination. All right? Now, if I look at some of the superstars that they have there, they got Kofi Kingston. I'm just looking at African-American superstars. You have Mark Henry, who's one of the members of the Nation of Domination. He wasn't an original member, but he was, you know, part of the Nation of Domination during the days. Mark Henry's career is about to come to an end. That's apparent. Mark Henry, you know, is not wrestling as much as he used to. Every time he comes down to the ring, basically he's there just to make somebody else look good. He's on Khali status, make a guy look strong, you know, and beat a big guy. How about have Mark Henry reform a new Nation of Domination consisting of Titus O'Neil, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and R-Truth. And all these guys have, an issue. I'm not playing a race card here, people. I'm not. But I'm just speaking facts. There's never been a full-fledged African-American WWE champion at all. Now, they had the World Heavyweight Championship, but they never had the WWE Championship. And how about that would be an issue? Like, these guys never, they never had a full-fledged African-American champion. The only person they had was The Rock. And these guys are disgruntled about it. They're not getting the push that they need. So these guys are just basically running ruckshot over, against the quote-unquote man. And putting Titus O'Neil in there against guys that can actually, guys that are actually pretty decent workers. How about having people, something like that go down? Instead of just having Titus O'Neil in a program all by himself, because he's not a main eventer. He's not. And nothing about Titus O'Neil says to me that he is a main eventer. And I don't care how big he is. I don't care how strong you try to portray him. I'm just not interested in Titus O'Neil. Again, the guy that he was going up against, Sheamus. Looking at Sheamus, time to press the reset button on my man. All right. Now, Sheamus has always been a good worker in the ring. Sheamus has always been a top tier talent. But I just feel like he's getting lost in the shuffle right now. And I think it's due to the fact that you got him being a face. I talked about this last week. Having Sheamus as a face is a big mistake. Sheamus is a ass kicker, people. He goes out to the ring and he does what he has to do. Even his moveset speaks heel. He's not a guy that comes out there and, try to appease to a fan with body slams and looking at the crowd. He's a straightforward, smash mouth, kick your ass superstar. And for him coming down to the ring, smiling, kissing babies, and saying fella to everybody is not the answer to Sheamus' problem. You need to make Sheamus a heel. There is not a top tier heel in WWE. No, there's not. And Sheamus could be that guy. Sheamus can be the guy that can basically put some ass in seats, make people hate him, and put on good matches. Period. And for him to be coming out here getting beat up by Titus O'Neil, I don't care if he did win the match. It's not good for Sheamus. It's just not a good look for Sheamus. And Sheamus needs to have main event status. I think that Sheamus can be a multi-time champion, but he's just getting lost in the fold. And I don't like it. And before it gets even worse, I just think that they need to make him a heel and give him a program with somebody, especially when you don't have Brock Lesnar wrestling all the time, especially when you don't know what you're doing with Alberto Del Rio. Besides Alberto Del Rio, there's not really a top heel in WWE. I don't care if Kane did come back. He's still not a main heel. He's not. I mean, I'm not checking for Kane when, I'm looking for heels. I'm sorry. Kane is 49 years old. Kane is not the heel of the future. More like a heel of the past. So I think that you need to make Sheamus a heel and have him have a run as a bad guy to solve that problem. Talking about the tag team division now, people. Talking about the match between the Usos and something called Ryback. Man, I'd rather them call them Ryback and Curtis Axel than Ryback. It's like, it's terrible. That's a terrible name. Before I get into this match, I want to talk about the tag team division as a whole. The tag team division is kind of getting, where it needs to be. But it's not going to be where it needs to be if you keep on breaking up these tag teams. What was the point of breaking up the primetime players? Cody Rhodes and Goldust? Man, okay. A couple months ago, when they had Cody Rhodes get fired and Goldust fighting for a job and they become the tag team champions, good story, okay? I understand that. But if you're going to have these guys tagging up this long to make people not even care about Cody Rhodes or not even care about Goldust, keep them together. Keep him together. You know, what was the point of having the primetime players, you know, come up, you know, with that whole putting their arm around each other, saying millions of dollars and getting people involved, only to break them up? What was the point of taking tons of funk and taking two big, massive guys, making them, you know, come out there with that, you know, whole hip hop persona from the 1980s, just to break them up? And what the hell? Where the hell is Brodus Clay? Where the hell is Tenzai? I don't know. So what was the point of you breaking these guys up in the first place? So basically, you done broke up 3 potential tag teams that could have actually made your division even better. But now you have Curtis Axel and Ryback together. You got the Usos, Los Matadors, and you got 3MB. Wow. You need to take these tag teams and you need to invest time in them. You need to get guys that's going to be a tag team and keep them a tag team. You know, these guys are not tag teams. They didn't come to the WWE as tag teams, except for the Usos. That's the only people you can make an argument with. Them and Los Matadors, because Primo and Epico, because that's who they are. They're related. They're family, so they can, you know, they're a tag team, and it's understandable. But to keep breaking up all these tag teams, you're actually crippling the division. That was the issue with the WWE back then. You know, breaking up these tag teams, putting the world heavyweight champion with the person that he's going to face again in WrestleMania, making them tag team champions, basically just crippled the division. And I said a couple weeks ago, by having Evolution destroy the Usos on national TV, crippled the division. A couple weeks ago, the tag team division was at an all-time high. You had all these tag teams going up, you know, against each other, and now you make the tag team division look weak because in a week's time, you done broke up Cody Rhodes and Goldust. You done allowed the Usos to get decimated on national TV by Evolution. You breaking up Cody Rhodes and Goldust. You got 2 midgets being a focal point of, you know, being a focal point of 2 tag teams that can actually add to the division. What are you doing, WWE? What are you doing? Don't get so lost in the main event in the Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement that you forget about the mid-card guys that can actually do something with the mid-card titles. So let's not forget about that. Let's focus on the whole spectrum, okay? Let's look at the big picture. The big picture is there are more things in life than Daniel Bryan, John Cena, you know, and the Shield and the Wyatt family. There's things that's much bigger than that, okay? So let's not forget that. But I feel like the match between Ryback and the Usos was a good match. Those guys have come from a long way to put on a good match like that. I feel like that match right there could have been on a pay-per-view. And I think those guys probably were upset because the match is not going to be on a pay-per-view. So they basically made the statement on tonight. They made the statement to say, hey, we're here, okay? We're here. You know, so, you know, don't put us in a match that should be on Monday Night Raw. We should be on a pay-per-view, helping add to the revenue of it. So I like the fact how hungry those guys look out there. The Usos, they did a good job. Jimmy Uso did a real good job, favoring his ankle throughout the match. Even like after they won the title, he was sitting on the ground like he was, in pain. I like that. I like the fact that he was selling the injury that way. Made the comeback towards the end look more dramatic. I like the perfect plex by Curtis Axel, followed by the big splash off the top rope by the Uso to win the match. I'm thirsty to look and see these guys go at it again, and that's what you want to leave in the mouth of the fans. That's the kind of taste you want to leave in the mouth of the WWE universe. You want us to want more, and I want more of those guys due to the fact that they actually put on a very good match. I give that match a B. It's not an A because I feel like there was still some spots that were missed in the match. But nevertheless, for the tag team division to get a B on Monday Night Raw and on right after wrestling, I feel like, you know, it only can go higher. But I don't think it can go higher if you keep on breaking up these tag teams. Can't keep breaking up the tag team, respect for the tag team division to get interesting because it won't. It will not get interested. And you need more heel tag teams. You need more heel tag teams. Los Matadors and the Usos. You got Ryback, 3MB. You need more heel tag teams. You know, to add on to it, to have people, you know, want to root for the Usos. The Usos are kind of over, but I just feel like if you get more heel tag teams and, you know, invest a little bit more time in your tag team division, people actually want to come see the tag team champions on a night in, night out basis. Moving on to the Intercontinental Championship qualifier match. I just feel like, you know, I feel like the match itself, the whole tournament, was absolutely great because the WWE, and I got to give them, you know, I just finished burying them for the tag team division, but I want to give them props for putting the focus on the Intercontinental title. Not because, you know, they've been talking about who's been the first Intercontinental title. We all know Pat Patterson was the first Intercontinental champion. We know the Intercontinental champion has been won by the likes of Mr. Perfect, Bret the Hitman Hart, the British Bulldog. The list goes on and on and on. We know. But not that. But for them to have a tournament and putting some of the talent they put in a tournament, they could have easily like just put, you know, somebody like R-Truth, you know, somebody, a mid-carder like that, you know, somebody like Xavier Woods or something, or somebody, you know, a guy that should be a tag team, you know, a tag team performer like, I don't know, Eric Rowan in there or something like that. I mean, instead of them doing something like that, you know, I'm not sleeping on any of those guys. I'm not sleeping on any of those guys, but for them to put champions in there, people like Sheamus, people like Alberto Del Rio, people like Dolph Ziggler, Rob Van Dam, it really shows that the WWE wants people to care about the Intercontinental Championship. They want them to care at the fact that Big E Langston is the Intercontinental Champion and these guys want the Intercontinental title. It put the focus on that. So I want to give props to the WWE for actually doing that. The whole tournament itself has been absolutely great. Good matches, good quality matches. So Bad News Barrett actually leading the fold, it makes sense. You invested all this time with all those promos during the time when Bad News Barrett wasn't performing. You made people interested in Bad News Barrett. You had people actually anticipating the bad news that Bad News Barrett was bringing week in, week out. So it's understandable that he is the Intercontinental Championship #1 contender. If he doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship, I mean, I wouldn't be upset about it, but I feel like he needs to win the Intercontinental Championship because you invested that much money, that much time, that much brain power at the I guess the rise of a Bad News Barrett that you need him to be the Intercontinental Champion. And Big E Langston, you know, having him lose to Alberto Del Rio for those last couple weeks, have them not really being on the receiving end of a victory that people actually seen visibly. Because let's be honest, Monday Night Raw is shown more and seen more by more fans than Friday Night SmackDown or a main event on the WWE Network. So to have Big E Langston have a match on national TV and actually have him lose like that makes people believe that he's not strong as a champion. And for when Big E actually left being the heavy for Dolph Ziggler and becoming a single superstar, and he had a little momentum behind him, putting them in programs with Randy Orton and kind of pushing them, making them the Intercontinental Champion and have him lose, it makes people just believe that make people lose interest in him. You want to make him look dominant as well. I feel like that match with Alexander Rusev, you could have put Big E in there somewhere, making him look dominant. saying, man, Big E is ready for Extreme Rules or whatever. Have him in a match, have him, look real good. Put him in a match with somebody that's a good worker. Instead of having Damian Sandow, since you want to make him look like a straight jobber, a straight sucker, how about have him, in a match with Big E Langston, talking about, I deserve to be in a main event, kind of like the borderlines of what he said last week with the Big Show. How about, have him come out there saying the same thing and have Big E say a little something, kind of further, his promo skills and have people interested in something he wants to say. And then, have Big E win the match and say Big E's ready for, Extreme Rules. That way you would have had Bad News Barrett or Rob Van Dam, whoever would have won the match, would have had his skill set on display and had Big E on display as well. So I just feel like those are some things that they can actually do when it comes to Big E Langston and Bad News Barrett. Like how Bad News Barrett, won the match. I got him winning at Extreme Rules. I think he's going to win the match. We haven't talked on Daniel Bryan. We haven't talked on that situation with him and Stephanie McMahon. The promo, I give it a C. I don't feel like it actually, promoted the Extreme Rules enough. It was more like, Stephanie McMahon and Daniel Bryan had their little spiel, and I feel like it could have been a whole lot better. Daniel Bryan comes out in a neck brace alongside his wife, Brie Bella. Stephanie McMahon is in a ring. They're on top of the ramp. Stephanie McMahon says that she didn't know that Kane was going to attack him the way he did. If you didn't see Raw last week, Daniel Bryan was a recipient of 3 Tombstone power drivers by Kane. A masked Kane has come back in the fold. And Daniel Bryan basically says to Stephanie McMahon, I don't believe you. I don't believe what you're saying. And you're wasting your time if you think that I believe that you had nothing to do with me getting Tombstone power drive 3 times. She then says she's sorry and puts Brie Bella in a match with Paige. And if Paige would have lost, then Brie Bella would have been the Diva champion. So the match was for the Divas championship. Daniel Bryan comes down, says he's not going to leave Brie Bella out there alone. He watches the match. Lo and behold, the match doesn't, end. Lo and behold, Kane pops up from underneath the ring. Not crawling from under the ring, but he actually pops up out of the ring and tries to drag the leg of Brie Bella, tried to drag her into the pits of hell. As Vince McMahon would actually say, tried to drag her into the pits of hell. Daniel Bryan grabs a wrench from under the ring, hits Kane over the head with it. Kane in, Kane form pops up and delivers a choke slam to Daniel Bryan. Tries to drag Brie Bella into the pits of hell again, only for Brie Bella to crawl out of the ring. Daniel Bryan is not going to lose to Kane, and I understand why they're allowing Kane to squash Daniel Bryan every single week for the last 2 weeks, because they want people to think that Kane is the monster that he once was, that Kane is the unstoppable force. He's 1997 Kane all over again. He's the big red machine. He's the devil's favorite demon. I mean, he's all of that. But for us to believe that Daniel Bryan is going to lose to him is basically laughable. Kane at this stage of his career is nothing more than a guy who actually is there to further the careers of future superstars, to make them look good. Kane is business, as WWE wrestlers would actually say, or anybody in the business. Kane is business. Kane understands the business. Kane will do anything for the business, and if anything you ask Kane to do, he will do, which is a lot of reasons why people like Kane behind the scenes. Daniel Bryan is a guy that people are rooting for. I don't like how they have his wife coming down to the ring. Like I said, it creates a fourth wall. I said that last week. Last week, I said it creates a fourth wall. I like that the WWE is starting to bring a little bit of reality into it. I just think that they need to be a little bit more careful. I don't think I want to see Brie Bella coming down to the ring in a Yes jacket, supporting her man. I understand that they're married. I understand that you want to, make it publicized that they're married, but I don't think that you need to forget that Brie Bella is part of a duo called the Bella Twins, and I think that it kind of can bring, some animosity between those two. And I just feel like, it doesn't make sense for Daniel Bryan to have his wife down to the ring. I think that she has her own career. She needs to be focused on trying to be Divas champion, and he needs to focus on retaining the WWE championship. And, the whole Kane trying to abduct her and stuff, man. How many women is Kane going to abduct? I've been watching wrestling a long time. Why hasn't anybody called the police on Kane yet? Because Kane has kidnapped so many women till it's not even funny. I can think back when Kane kidnapped Tori. He kidnapped Lita. He tried to kidnap what? AJ. Oh man, and then he tried to kidnap Brie Bella. I mean, Kane has kidnapped so many women, and it's getting kind of old. Okay, we understand. Kane wants to abduct women and bring them down to the boiler room inside the arena. We get it. We don't need Brie Bella being down to the ring. We don't need her. I think he tried to kidnap Eve too. Yeah, he tried to kidnap Eve. So many women he tried to kidnap. We get it, okay? We don't need Brie Bella down in the ring with Daniel Bryan. Let Daniel Bryan run his own course and let Brie Bella run hers, okay? WWE, I'm just being honest with you. I mean, so many women Kane can actually abduct. Lastly, talk a little bit about Evolution versus The Shield. Evolution versus The Shield will take place in Extreme Rules. Once again, I talked about it in my Hell Nah segment. I didn't like how they had Roman Reigns taking on against a guy who was in his hometown in Randy Orton. I don't care if he is a heel. You don't do that to a guy that you're trying to push to be a main eventer. That was a bad look. Why not have him take on Batista? Don't give the crowd an opportunity to boo a guy that you're trying to make the star of the company. Don't do it. If you're trying to make him and elevate his career, don't put him in that position. Bad booking by the WWE. Bad booking. Them standing in a ring together, I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that they were standing in a ring. We seen, Evolution comes down to the ring and talk about, the Shield. They respect them and stuff, and they're a lot like Evolution was. They were young, they were hungry, they took what they wanted. But Triple H saying, I made you and I can break you. I mean, very, very chilling words by the COO. Then the Shield comes down to the ring. We heard a promo earlier that said that, the Shield say they're the most dominant force in WWE, and they're the most dominant force that ever been. Finally, the Nature Boy Ric Flair comes down to the ring, and everybody's thinking, okay, now Evolution is complete. He comes down to the suit. Comes down in the suit, just like, Batista, the cleanest man in wrestling, by the way. And Triple H was, of course, Randy Orton was in wrestling attire. Ric Flair comes down to the ring and throws a complete curveball at the fans, promoting the Shield, shakes all three members of the Shield hands, and styles and profiles his way to the back. Then we see a match that takes place, Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Now, this match was very short, but what I see from Roman Reigns in the WWE, you got to be careful, people. You got to be careful. Do not allow Roman Reigns to get pushed to the top too fast. I tried to watch his match, with Randy Orton, but the only thing I can see is there, it wasn't really a lot of moves being shown by Roman Reigns. Of course, he has that Superman punch. He has a couple clotheslines. He has the big drop kick from the outside. He has the spear, but it's not going to get him over. You want him to elevate his moveset, and maybe, he's not showing his moveset because they want people to like him as a single superstar. But, his match last night with Randy Orton, I just feel like the match was too much, it wasn't instincts. Everything, was kind of, scripted. It seemed like Randy Orton was doing more talking than usual. Like, I even seen like one part when Randy Orton does his trademark DDT with your legs on the ropes. I seen Randy Orton tell Roman Reigns, "Don't let me DDT you." So Roman Reigns actually, kicks his legs from underneath the ropes, and does like a shot to the face. So I don't feel like it's instincts yet for Roman Reigns. And when it becomes instincts, like when it becomes a sixth sense to be in the ring, then only then I feel like you need to push him. So a lot of people are speculating that the Shield are going to turn on Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules this Sunday. I don't know, but I hope not, because what I seen on Monday Night Raw, I don't think he's ready for it. I don't think he's ready for the main event just yet. I think that the Shield, I think that Seth Rollins is a star. I think that Dean Ambrose is a star. I feel like Roman Reigns is a star. But I feel like Roman Reigns is just not ready to be what they need him to be. And I seen that when they allowed him to spear Triple H. They allowed him to spear the COO of the company. And, you know that he's going to be the next guy. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be a star. So, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful pushing him a little bit too fast. Yeah. Well, I know that's a lot to digest, people, but that is what happened on Monday Night Raw, and that is my perspective. Extreme Rules, for those that don't know, and those that didn't catch Monday Night Raw and just listen to me tell you about it. If you have Dish Network, if you have DirecTV, your provider will not be carrying Extreme Rules. Now, if you have Time Warner Cable or any other cable provider, then you're Gucci. And what I mean by Gucci, for those that don't know, that means that you're fine. Okay? But they are encouraging people to buy the WWE Network. WWE Network $9.99. You get all 12 pay-per-views throughout the year. It started with WrestleMania. I think that it's a good buy, $9.99 a month for a $60 pay-per-view. That costs $60. I think that it's wise to do. I feel like you're saving a whole hell of a lot of money, honestly. A hell of a lot of money. And it's some good television. I mean, I enjoy watching the WWE Network. I like those classic matches. I like the behind-the-scenes stuff. I like how, those documentaries on Triple H and Mick Foley and Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, that they put on a network. Very good television. Very good television. So if you have this network, if you have DirecTV, you won't be able to get it. They're encouraging people to buy the WWE Network. So I don't know what you're going to do, but I will do a special show this Sunday talking about what happened at Extreme Rules. So if you want, you can tune into the show. Hopefully you'll tune into the show. I wish that you would tune into the show, and we'll talk it out. And I want you all to get involved. If you got any questions that you want me to ask, all you got to do, any question you want me to ask about the show, on the show, I should say. Like if you have a question you want me to ask, go ahead and send it to tjsnitty-gritty@gmail.com. That's tjsnitty-gritty@gmail.com. Also, you can call the show at 601-456-0323. That's 601-456-0323. You can call anytime. You can ask your questions or even give your comments about Monday Night Raw. This is your show. I mean, I'm the host of the show, and, I try to give you the best show possible, but the show would be nothing without you guys getting involved. So, till next time, this has been this edition of Right After Wrestling on Spreaker.com, Dreadhead Radio. Good night, everybody. Be safe.